I'm glad you joined me today for Hope in the Works. The question we're going to be discussing today is why all of a sudden did my child with autism quit making eye contact with me, and why did my child not want to communicate with me? Now, typical newborn children, they're going to follow their mother's voices from side to side, or wherever the voice goes, they're going to follow those voices. And as they develop, they are going to make eye contact with their faces. The same can be true of children with autism. When their mother comes into the room, the voices, they're going to follow their mother's voices. They could even lock onto them with their eyes and make eye contact. We know for a fact that some children with autism, they can develop a pretty good communication system, but we know that 20 to 40% of those children are going to lose that communication system, at least some of it, but they could lose all of it. And usually that time frame, that age is going to be anywhere from 19 months to 24 months. And that's very frustrating for us as parents. It's got to be frustrating for those children, but it's really frustrating for mom and for dad as we try to figure out what's going on with our child. Now, I want to answer why they don't make the eye contact. I want to answer why it seems like they don't want to communicate with us. But before I do that, I need you to do me a favor. I'm Dr. David Looney. This is Hope in the Works. And if you would take just a moment for me to hit the like and notification bell and subscribe, all of those things will help me to build this channel to help more people with the content that we're putting out. If you would take just a moment to do that, I would appreciate that very much. That being said, now, let's start answering the question. One of the reasons why our children are not making the eye contact and they're not communicating with us is because of sensory overload. This sensory overload creates for them anxiety. It creates for them frustration. It creates emotional distress. They could become withdrawn. They could have meltdowns, and even to the point that they shut down because of all of the sensory overloads. Just think about all the things you hear during the day. Think about all the things you see during the day. Think about the things that catch your attention and make you look around, and you're not even planning to look over there, but something gets your attention. Compound that with a child with autism, and they have that sensory overload, and it frustrates them no end. Number two, why is my child not communicating or making eye contact? They have difficulty with social cues. For example, they struggle. If we're excited and we raise those eyebrows and our eyes are open wide, they may or may not understand why. If we give a kind of a scowl in our look, they're going, what's going on with mom and dad? What are they trying to get across to me? If we're looking over here, or over here, over here, up here, or down here, they don't understand those social cues, and they struggle. They don't understand the facial expression. So one of the things that they can do to get rid of that anxiety and that frustration, they may even look like they are making contact with you, but they may be focusing on something behind you. They're looking in your direction, but they're not looking at you, and you may mistake that as them watching you or listening to you as you're communicating with them. So they misunderstand those things, and to get rid of that anxiety, they find a fixed point behind you, and then they go into their own little world. Number three is really important. As a matter of fact, number three is so important that it's going to be a standalone video that I will do in the very near future. But we need to mention it. Brain function. There are structural differences in children with autism than with neurotypical children. The brain structure is different in the hippocampus, in the amygdala. It's different in the cerebellum. It's different in the cortex. And because of those structural differences, it creates problems for our children in being able, it creates barriers. I think is a better way to put it. It creates barriers in being able to communicate as effectively as they would want to communicate. Now, I'll go into greater detail in another video, but this is just giving you some idea of some things that you can be researching so that you can figure out what to do or what's best to do for your child. Another reason for the problem that we're facing in this communication area is the fact that they focus on so many other things. You think about your day-to-day life. The TV is on in one part of the house, the telephone rings in another part of the house, the birds are singing outside the window. If you have bird feeders and all like we do in our yard, they're flying all over the place, and our daughter with autism will sit there mesmerized looking at the birds as they fly to the bird bath or as they fly to get something to eat. She watches that, but then something else will catch her. A butterfly flying off in this direction will catch her attention, and it happens all the time. They focus on other things. I remember a number of years ago, I'd go to summer camp and I was teaching a Bible class, and I had about 15 boys in there, and about 14 of them were paying pretty good attention. But this 15th boy, he was sitting on the ground, seemingly uninterested in anything that was going on. He might pull an earthworm up out of the ground, or he would watch the leaves blow across the area that we were in, or he would pick up bugs. I mean, he loved bugs and all that kind of stuff, and that would get his attention. But then when I would ask a Bible question, man, with pinpoint accuracy, he would answer the question. He would answer the question. He wouldn't look at you, but he'd answer the question. And then I'd ask another question, and before the other boys could answer, he would answer again. And his answer would always be correct. He wasn't making eye contact, seemingly uninterested, but boy, he was honed in. He was paying attention. Sometimes our children with autism are doing that. But I wanted to mention these things to give us some ideas on things to research, things to do, things that we can think about so that we can get the best possible help for our children. When you see some of these things taking place in your child's life, I'm going to challenge you and encourage you. Make a phone call to the pediatrician. Let him or her address those issues. Let him or her test your child and see where you are so that they can make the best possible recommendation, whether it's with speech therapy or occupational therapy or physical therapy, whatever your child might need. They know what to do. Also, you could make an appointment, or they could encourage you to make an appointment with a counselor who is trained in those areas so that they can give you some things that you can work on. It will be invaluable to your child. It will be invaluable to you. Why is it going to be invaluable to you? Because this is a lifetime. There is no cure for autism, but there are things that can be done and put into place that will make the greatest difference in your life and in the life of your child. So I want to challenge you, don't give up. I hope that this video today has given you hope for today. I hope it's given you encouragement for the day. And I'm so thankful that you took time to listen to this particular video on this all-important topic. Now, the next video that we're going to be doing, and I encourage you to join me for that as well, that's why I need you to hit that notification bell, is why does my child with autism covers up their ears for loud sounds, does not like harsh smells, they'll cover up their nose, don't like bright lights, they'll either cover their eyes or close their eyes. Why does my child with autism do that? That will be the next video. But as we close for this time, thank you again for joining me at Hope in the Works. I look forward to seeing you the next video, and I pray that the things that we have discussed today will be those things that will challenge you, help you, and encourage you. Thank you again, and God bless.